So we are here for round 3, currently 1-1, and we have the backdoor in hand. We have the Liliana on barrier rights plus Fatty, but unfortunately we only have another 1-land hand. So this Manamo not going to get the job done. And we'll mulligan into a perfectly serviceable hand, so I like it. We'll lead with the Delta, get a land out of our deck. We don't really need any more. Also, this is going to fetch a dual land, so this is effectively an ETB tap land. So just get this out of the way right quick. Blood-Soaked Champion. Alright, we're playing against some rando decks here. Don't think we really need a blue source. Don't actually need a black source either. But, I mean, we have a Sunken Ruins. So that can make the double black. So maybe we do want the blue land. Might make for some Snapcaster happenings later if Sunken Ruins is doing other stuff. I don't know. Yeah, let's get Hallowed Fountain. Stupid Ghost Quarter showing up. Play the Sunken Ruins in case we draw a Colonnade. We can still play Liliana. But this Blood-Soaked Champion is going to give Liliana some trouble, I think. Blood-Soaked Champion of all cards. I'm playing against another Aristocrat-style deck here. Any Blood Artists in the house? Inquisition, that's quite good. This is our main form of action. We needed that. Path is pretty nice against the champ. Overall, though, it appears like we're in a lot of trouble. I'm going to path this thing out of the way, though. Don't want to deal with that any longer. So, opponent might not be doing anything else this turn. That'd be nice. Got some solid M15 basics. And was that Innistrad? Yeah. No. AVR? I don't know. I think it's Innistrad. Because that's the AVR symbol. Well, you know all my cards, so I don't know why you're Inquisitioning me. Murderous Cut still does cost 5 mana. Guess it's a good thing we cast a path now. And Pluto Delta, not really going to help. Promise of Boonray. So it does look like a little Aristocrats action. Kind of stinks that we path our opponent into their 5th land. Or their 3rd land, rather. And also that we have cut now instead of the path. Thankfully, our opponent's clock is not too big. Still got plenty of live draws. Snapcaster Mage is reasonable. Need some better stuff to snap, though. One of these days, maybe. Would definitely like some stuff to kill all Lingering Souls. Can't play Knight of Souls Betrayal because we have our own souls. Maybe we could play Curse of Death's Hold somewhere. Inquisition's pretty annoying. Actually gets a spell this time. Should probably take Snapcaster. Since even if you take a snare, I still have a virtual snare with Snapcaster, so. kind of just getting beat up here. Need to find Elishnorn. I need to have it not get pathed. Soul's Flashback, not too surprising. Opponent still has 5 spells, and now we have a Gifts Ungiven. So if we gifts for Elishnorn, Souls, Unburial Rights, and a land, opponent could give us Souls, Elishnorn. Then we can't cast anything this turn. So what can we gifts for? Because I don't think we need just a 2-card gifts. I think we can do a 4-card gifts because we can actually cast the Elishnorn. Yeah, but I don't think there's anything too great to get. So you go Elishnorn on Burial Rights. Could gifts for the land, but don't necessarily have to because we're still drawing pretty live. Could get an Inquisition in the hopes of actually stripping a discard spell from our opponent. Could also potentially just get 2 sweepers and then cut one of our opponent's spirits, which would trigger the promise and then would allow us to sweep everything away in case we don't draw the land for Elishnorn, in case they give us one of those. I guess they could just give us Elishnorn and Unburial Rights and bank on us not drawing a land. So what's the scenario? Cut a Spirit, gifts for Elishnorn, Unburial Rights, Damnation, Supreme Verdict. Our opponent gives us Unburial Rights, Elishnorn, and then we just have to draw a land. I think that's pretty reasonable. Alternatively, we could just see what our opponent does and maybe just gifts for 2 cards. So, kind of want to leave some stuff for Sun Titan. Kind of also want to leave some stuff for Snapcaster. Not sure. I think just leaving the Liliana is probably correct. And this way we can gifts and also keep Omen Spell Snare. So hopefully our opponent does something this turn. Champ is here. Alright. What else? Nothing else. Rats. So what are the odds that we draw an untapped land here? Because we kind of need to wipe the board this turn. Still feel like against our opponent's 5 cards, we still probably have to gifts for 4 things. I don't know. And I kind of want Souls to be one of them. So we want to set up a situation in which, like, if we're going to gifts for 4 spells, and 2 of them are Elishnorn and Burial Rights, we want our opponent to not give us those. So maybe it's like Unburial Rights, Elishnorn, Sun Titan, so then we actually get some value if our opponent gives us the Unburial Rights and we don't draw a land, and then like a Lingering Souls. So that's kind of cool. So that looks kind of good to me. This is the nice thing about playing like all the black mana and like multiple white mana is that you can actually just cast these things. You know, it's not just gifts for Unburial Rites, like one trick pony kind of thing. Now our opponent actually has to choose. And no matter what, we're getting some value. We might not be able to sweep our opponent's board next turn, but hopefully that's the case. If not, we can still like Unburial Rites, Sun Titan, get back Liliana, make him discard a card. Or we could just, you know, draw the Sun Titan too. That's fine. So now... yeah, I guess we just cast Sun Titan, get Liliana back, both discard. I discard Elishnorn. I think this seems reasonable. Now, if we discard Elishnorn, even if we draw a land, we could still play like Liliana Flashback on Burial Rites. And then Liliana has a turn of reprieve, so this is kind of nice too. I could also see like this just getting pathed, which would also be fine. But yeah, we're gonna take a decent amount of damage here. Opponent discards Lightning Bolts. Yeah, they are the Mardu Aristocrats deck, possibly the same one that I wrote about. Pull that deck list up just to see what we're working with here. Blood Crypt is dangerous, especially if they're discarding Lightning Bolt. Now if they have a Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, we just die. Ooh, Blood Artist. That's probably going to kill us too. So the Spell Snare was live. Oh, this was actually the person I did the Daily Digest on. Awesome. That's really cool. And they actually only have one Path to Exile in their deck. So if I got Elishnorn, it probably would have just been live. So that's pretty silly. Oh, and yeah, instead we're just dead. So Zealous Persecution appears to be a new ad. Yeah, maybe we just blew it. Maybe we should have just gone on Burial Rites Elishnorn and put it into play, and I don't think our opponent could have won. Kind of funny. Kind of funny. So, 4 Inquisition, 2 Thoughtseize. Does Crackling Doom target? Nope. Each opponent sacks a creature. That's pretty good. Yeah, we do want this Dark Blast. And Celestial Purge. And I think the Leyline of Sanctities. And opponent has a Path Maiden and a Path in the board, but I still think Iona... I don't know, maybe Iona's just worse than Elishnorn if that's the case. I kind of feel stupid now. I kind of feel like I should have just gotten Elishnorn and possibly won the game, but... had not seen my opponent's deck list yet for certain. So Liliana looks quite not very good. Quite bad, actually. Kind of like the discard. Slaughter Pact is obviously out. And then what else? What else? Sun Titan's probably not great since we're cutting Liliana. We don't have a lot of good stuff to bring back. Kind of like everything else. Yeah, maybe Timelies are not good. Or is not good, since we only have one. I don't know, though. It doesn't seem that bad to me. If we're, like, getting blood artisted or whatever, like, gaining the 6 life might be pretty relevant. I guess our opponent had a tragic slip, too, so it's possible they had some outs to Elishnorn. Gotta cut one more. Don't know what it is. My opponent's spells are mostly pretty cheap. Maybe it's just the remand. And what is up with these one-landers? We have a one-lander like every game. That's no bueno. Yeah, more one-landers, sure. One-lander and completely unplayable, but we're in there. Both on 6. I'm sure we would both like to scry 1, but not quite there yet. Maybe this deck needs like some Thirst for Knowledges or something. Something else to kind of grease the wheels a little bit. Get a little velocity going. I think we could have won that first game had we known our opponent's deck list. And now this game is probably a lost cause. Our opponent's fetching and only got basic Swamp in their 3-color deck, so they probably have pretty reasonable mana. And if they have, like, any sort of resistance whatsoever, we're probably done for. It's probably tempting to take the Talisman since we only have 1 land. But I could also see taking the Spell Snare if they have a 2-drop they want to resolve. Maybe a Dark Confidant. Maybe they're playing for a longer game if their hand is slower and they want to take Ojutai. I don't know. A lot of options, even though probably won't even get to play Magic this game, but we'll see. Just not very optimistic, I guess. So Spell Snare bites it. We draw Minamo. So our Ojutai deck is looking pretty good. Inquisitions, not so much, but maybe we'll draw an Urborg or a Sunken Runes, just fire them both off. Could be pretty sweet. So our opponent's got perfect mana. And a Robert. And we have a path. And I think we have to use that now. We can give our opponent a land or give them a bunch of cards. I think I feel safer just giving them a land. Oh, they're confidant. Oh, there's the Urborg. Now maybe we can just beat him with Ojutai. We'll see. Lightning Bolt. Nugget. Zealous Persecution, Lingering Souls. So I definitely care about the Persecution. The Souls are pretty annoying when I'm trying to connect with Ojutai. Maybe this deck should have a Shizo. This deck probably should have a Shizo. So yeah, I guess I'm taking the Souls too. Opponent is left with a Swamp and a Confidant to my Ojutai in 4 mana, so we'll see what happens. Reveals a Bloodsoak Champion, not too concerned with that. Plays out their Swamp, now they just have their Unknown Draw Step. And we really need an untapped land here. Yeah, Lingering Souls is okay. It's not exactly what we wanted, though. Kind of just getting beaten down. If we drew an untapped land or a Gifts, I would like our spot. Inquisition, that doesn't do anything. And anything we draw, we're probably going to cast, so. We are free from Kozilek's Inquisition.
Definitely like just blocking these Souls tokens. Less blockers for my Ojutai.
Leyline. That is a horrible draw. I suppose could just cast it, although I could also just flashback souls. Not really worried too much about what my opponent can target me with. At least not for now. I guess my opponent has some rending volleys they could board in. They thought I had Ojutai. All these lightning bolts. I'm not sure why those are still in the deck. Opponent has perfectly reasonable cards to bring in. Those would probably be the first thing I would side out, but... Alright, opponent still doesn't have too much going on. But neither do we. Finally get rid of that Dark Confidant, but all we really wanted was lands. That was it. Just trying to live the dream, play our dragon, attack with it. So many bolts. Uh-oh. That's not good. Now we're dead to a lot of stuff. Up to and including the third lightning bolt. Alright, we're dead. Oh well.